Yes, good afternoon to all. In the last class we discussed about the stem modifications, and today we are discussing the next part of the modifications. You see the stem, there are three types of stems are there. One called as underground stem, subaerial stem and aerial stem. See, stem classified into three categories: underground stem, aerial stem and sub-aerial stem. We classified stem into three categories. First comes the underground stem, then comes the aerial stem, then comes the sub-aerial stem. Three types of stems are there. In the last class we discussed about the underground stem present below the soil level. Three or four types were explained, like rhizome or bulb, or like many plant stem is present below the soil level and for the purpose of storage of food material. And sub-aerial stem we explained, three or four types are there: runner, sucker, stolon, offset, like that. Four types of sub-aerial stem is there. And today we can see the aerial stem. Sub-aerial stem means stem present above the soil level but growing horizontal on the soil level are called sub-aerial, like creepers or grasses or vegetables. Then comes aerial stem. Aerial means towards the air, that is called aerial. So stem present above the soil level growing vertically are called as aerial stem. See, what are the types of aerial stem modifications? Usually the stem present above the soil level growing vertically are called as aerial stem. And see what are the types of aerial stem modifications. What is the meaning of modification? Modification means stem doing functions other than conduction and supporting. Normal function of the stem is conduction and supporting the leaves and branches. But there are some cases where stem is modified. Stem performing other functions are called as modifications. We are seeing that root modifications are there. Roots are doing the function of storage. Roots are doing the function of storage of food material, or they are doing the function of respiration. Roots are doing the function of supporting, as in sugar cane or in banyan tree. Like that, stem, aerial stem is modified. Aerial stem performing other functions are called as aerial stem modifications. See one by one. There are three aerial stem modifications were explained. First comes thorns. 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 Thorns in plants like citrus, orange, lemon, called citrus, or the plant called bougainvillea. Bougainvillea. You know the plant called bougainvillea. Or citrus, you know. Citrus means lemon. Lemon, the plant is called citrus. In these plants, thorns are, can see many plants are there in your surroundings. Plants like this, Canthium or any plant. This is the node. From the node, leaves originate. This is the stem. This point is called node. This is called axil. As you know, axil. In the axil, there is a bud called axillary bud. In the axil, there is a bud called axillary bud. This axillary bud normally grow into branches. Axillary bud normally grow into branches. Instead of growing into branches, the axillary bud is modified into hard pointed structure. This hard pointed structure. This hard pointed structure is called as thorn. So the axillary bud, instead of growing into branches, it will develop into hard pointed structure called thorn. What is the function of thorn? Helping to protect the plant from grazing animals. See, from the grazing animals, plant is for cow-like animals, it gets protection by the presence of thorn. You see, many plants are there in our surroundings. Plant with a very hard pointed structure. So thorn is called a hard pointed structure is called thorn, helping for supporting. Protection. Then second one is called as tendril. 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 In plants like cucumber or vegetables, or many plants are there. Cucumber is a typical example. Cucumber vegetable. Cucumber is there, or many climbing plants are there. Many vegetables are there in such plants. You see, I've seen the tendril like that. This is the structure, this is the leaf, and this is the axillary bud is there. This is the axillary bud like that. This is the leaf, and this axillary bud develop into hard coiled structure like that. See, axillary bud is developing into spring-like coiled structure. This spring-like coiled structure is called a tendril. You see, vegetables are there. Many plants are there. In these plants, this axillary bud develop into spring-like coiled structure. That spring-like coiled structure is called tendril. What is the function of tendril? It is usually touching anywhere, it will coiling around that. So this tendril is helping to climb over the support. If this tendril touches on any support, it will coil like that. So this spring-like coiled structure is called tendril. Which part is modified? Axillary bud is modified into spring-like coiled structure for climbing over the support. It's called as tendril. You see, this is very familiar for you. Then comes third one. It's also familiar for you. That is called as phylloclade. That is called as phylloclade. As in plants like opentia or in plants like euphorbia. It's a garden plant. Opentia is a plant growing in desert region. Opentia plant. In this opentia plant, you know, a plant like this. A plant like this. Green, fleshy plant like that. Say in desert area, in sandy area, you can see the plant like opentia, green structure, thick structure. This will grow like that. This will grow like that. And this structure, a green structure with the spines on that. You can see spines like that. See, this structure have leaves are modified into spine. Spine is the modified leaf. Leaves are converted into spine. For what? To reduce, you know, this plant is growing in desert region. This plant is growing in sandy desert region. This is a desert plant. We call these plants as, you know, the plants are called as cactus plants. Cactus. And this is growing in desert region. So what happens? This dry region, so there is no water. Water is very less. So what happens? The leaves are reduced to spine. For what? To reduce transpiration, to reduce loss of water. Because they are growing in desert region, there is no water. So what happens? Leaves are reduced to spines to reduce transpiration. Leaves are reduced to spine to reduce the loss of water. So there is no leaf. Leaves are absent. So what happens? Who will do photosynthesis? If there is no leaf, there is no photosynthesis. Usually food is prepared by leaves. So if there is no leaf, who will do photosynthesis? What happens is that the stem is modified into thicker structure called phylloclade. Stem is modified into thick green structure called phylloclade. Stem is modified into green thick structure called phylloclade. For what? Because this is for green photosynthesis, thick and fleshy storage of water. You remember? Green, thick and fleshy. You have seen that. These kind of structures are there. You can see very familiar. And these structures are called as phylloclade. What is the function? Storage of water. It will store large amount of water. And green photosynthesis. So the function of leaves is done by this structure called phylloclade. So stem doing the function of photosynthesis. Extra function. So these are all the stem modifications are there. What is the meaning of modification? Doing functions other than conduction and supporting. They are called as modification. So 3 examples are there. Thorn, protection. Tendril, supporting spring-like structure. Phylloclade, photosynthesis and storage of water. Diagrams are given in the notebook. You copy the diagram from the notebook or from the textbook or anywhere. So that is about the stem modification. Stem and stem modification. So root and root modification is over. Stem and stem modification is over. Then comes to leaves. Leaf modifications and types of leaves are more important. They are more important. When comes to leaf and leaf modification, I will send the notes later on. So the leaf and leaf modification. Leaf, you are very familiar. Different types of leaves are available. Leaves originate from the nodal region, and leaves are the photosynthetic apparatus. Photosynthesis takes place in the leaves. Different types of leaves are there. First of all, we can see the structure of a typical leaf. See structure of a typical leaf. A leaf originates from the nodal region. Leaf originates from the nodal region. This is the node. From the node, leaves originate. And a typical leaf consists of three portions. A typical leaf consists of three parts. A basal part by which it attaches on the stem. Basal part by which it attaches on the stem is called leaf base. Basal part of a leaf is called leaf base, and by which it attaches on the stem. This basal part of the leaf is called a leaf base, and it have an elongated stalk-like part. This elongated stalk-like part is called as petiole. Stalk of the leaf is called stalk, S-T-A-L-K, not S-T-O-C-K. Stalk of the leaf is called petiole. And the green expanded part of the leaf is called as, this is a green expanded part of the leaf is called as lamina. This is the green expanded part of the leaf called as lamina. Three parts are there. A typical leaf consists of three parts: a basal part, a leaf base, and a petiole, and this green expanded part is called a lamina or blade. Lamina or blade. Three parts are there. Leaf base, stalk of the leaf is called petiole. I will add it here for producing confusion. I will add this here. This part is called a lamina. Sorry, this is called petiole, and this is called, green part is called lamina or blade. Lamina or blade. At the middle region, there is a main vein like that. Main vein is there. In our body, veins are present. This main vein is called midrib. This is called as midrib, and this is traversed by veins. These are traversed by veins. This main vein is called midrib and are called veins, and these branches again produce branches. These branches are called as veinlet. Small branches are there. The small branches are called as veinlet. These kind of branches are called as veinlet. And near the leaf base, there is a small scale-like structure. A small scale-like structure is present. The small scale-like structure is called stipule. Small scale-like structure is called a stipule. These are the portions of a typical leaf. Consists of basal part of the leaf is called leaf base, and stalk-like part is called petiole. Stalk of a leaf is called petiole, and tip is called lamina, and there is a midrib, veins and veinlet. Here there is a scale-like structure called stipule. That is about the parts of a typical leaf. And in many cases, in many plants, the leaf base, normal leaf base is, in hibiscus-like plant, this is the leaf base is normal. But in some plants, leaf base is like that. Leaf base is somewhat swollen like that. Any plants, leaf base is somewhat larger. This swollen leaf base is called as pulvinous. In many plants, you can see that in their surroundings, this leaf base is somewhat large, swollen, and this swollen leaf base is called pulvinous. In many plants, leguminous plants, we can see pulvinous, and this pulvinous is responsible for leaf movement. Leaf movements are there. You know, touch me not plant. Touch me not plant. When we touch us, it closes the leaves. That movement, this kind of movement, many plants in morning time leaves will open like that. By the evening time it will close like that. That is called a sleeping movement. These leaf movements are due to the activity of this pulvinus. So this pulvinus is responsible for leaf movements like that. So this is about the structure of a typical leaf. Modification differences are there. Maybe there a typical leaf consists of leaf base, petiole and lamina. Midrib veins and branches are called veinlet. Main is called midrib. This is called vein. These branches are called as veinlet. So that is about the typical leaf. Then, before going the structure of classification of leaf, there is a topic called venation. See, venation. Venation. Arrangement of vein on the lamina is called as venation. Arrangement of vein on the lamina is called venation. You can see, you can take the leaf and you can see that on the back side of the leaf it is very clear. See, arrangement of vein on the lamina is called venation. There are two types of venation in plants. There are two types of venation. One is called as reticulate venation and one is called as parallel venation. Parallel venation and reticulate venation. In parallel venation, in reticulate venation is seen in dicot plants. Many plants are there, hibiscus like plants are there, all plants are dicot. In our surroundings are mostly dicot. It is seen in monocot or parallel venation series in monocot plants. Like sugarcane, grass, bamboo, wheat, etc. are called as monocot plants. In reticulate venation means venations like a network like venation. See, in dicot plants, the veins are arranged like a network. Veins are arranged like a network. See, veins are arranged like a network on the lamina. Veins are arranged like a network. You can see from the back side, you can see anytime you take any leaf in your surroundings, on the back side you can see veins are arranged like a network, like a net arrangement. It is called reticulate venation. You can see from that, take a leaf and observe on the back side, you can see very clearly. Network. In parallel venation, in monocot grasses, veins are arranged parallel to the midrib. In plants like sugarcane, you can see rice, midrib. Parallel to the midrib. See, veins are arranged parallel to the midrib. Parallel to midrib. This is called what? Parallel venation. So there are two types of venation, parallel venation and reticulate venation. In parallel venation, veins are arranged parallel to the midrib, but in reticulate venation, you can see all the diagrams. Diagrams are very clear for you. Diagrams are there in the notebook also, in the text also. So veins are arranged like parallel as in rice or wheat or sugarcane or barley or grasses. But in reticulate venation, they are arranged like a network. There are two types of venation, parallel venation and reticulate venation. Arrangement of vein on the lamina is called venation, parallel and reticulate venation. Then comes the next part of the leaf, and there are two types of leaves based on the structure. There are two types of leaf, simple leaf and compound leaves are two types. See, simple leaf and compound leaf. There are two types of leaf. Simple leaf, all are important for practical also. So simple leaf and compound leaf. What is simple leaf? Very simple leaf. See, here one, for the simple leaf, one petiole contains one lamina. The petioles contain one lamina. This is called a simple leaf. Leaf contains one petiole, contains one lamina. This is called petiole. This is called lamina. one petiole contains one lamina, it is called a simple leaf, as in the case of hibiscus. Simple leaf. What is compound leaf? If the petiole contains numerous leaflet, if the structure is like that, you may remove plants like that. If the leaves are like that, again contains like that, is like that. This is called compound leaf. And see, this stalk of a compound leaf is called as rachis. This is called petiole. Stalk of a simple leaf is called petiole. This is called as lamina. And these structures are called leaflet. This is totally called as one leaf. This rachis is called, stalk of compound leaf is called rachis. And these structures are called as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaflet. Part of the leaf is called, this is totally one leaf. This small one piece is called a leaflet. So, petiole, rachis, lamina, leaflet. If petiole contains one lamina, you take example from your surrounding and you can see that very clearly. If petiole contains one lamina, it is called simple leaf. And if the rachis contain numerous leaflet, it is called compound leaf. There are two types of leaves, simple leaf and compound leaf. And the compound leaves are two types. Again, compound leaves are of two types. Not two, different types are there, but in textbook only two types are there. In the compound leaf, there are two types of compound leaf. Pinnately compound leaf. Pinnately compound leaf and palmately compound leaf. Pinnately compound leaf and palmately compound leaf. In the pinnately compound leaf, if they are arranged like a feather, see, this is the rachis. Leaflets are arranged like from the base of the rachis to the tip of the rachis like a feather. It is called pinnately compound leaf. As in coconut, as in arecanut, as in tamarind, as in many plants are there like that. Leaflets are arranged. This is called rachis. This is called leaflet. This is total leaf. Pinnately compound leaf. This is arranged like a feather. Leaflets are arranged from the base of the rachis. This is the rachis. This is the rachis. Base of the rachis to the tip of the rachis like a feather, as in tamarind, as in coconut. It is called as pinnately compound leaf. In the palmately compound leaf, fingers on a palm, palmately compound, as in bombax. Many plants are there. BOMBAX. This is not familiar for you. The cotton-like structure used for filling the pillows. Filling the pillows is called as bombax. Cotton in such plants. Leaflets are rachis is there. Leaflets are arranged like fingers on a palm. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. See. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 7. See. Like fingers on a palm. Arranged from one point. Here there is no leaflet. Rachis, tip of the rachis bears like fingers on a palm. Palmately. Fingers on a palm. This is called palm. Fingers on a palm. Here there is no fingers. Fingers are also the tip of the. So like that, the leaflets are arranged like fingers on a palm and the tip of the rachis. Here tip of the rachis only. Here from the base of the rachis to the tip of the rachis. Full length is there. Here only at the tip of the rachis only 5. So this kind of arrangement is called this is pinnately compound like feather. This is like a palmately compound leaf. We can discuss more classifications in the coming classes if possible. So, pinnately, and so leaves are of two types, simple and compound. Compound leaves are of two types, pinnately compound like as in coconut, or palmately compound as in bombax or some other plants. If possible, I will show this example. So that is about the classification of leaf simple and compound. Then comes to next topics, comes the phyllotaxy and modification of leaf in the next class. So listen, watch the video very carefully, and I will send the notes today itself. You complete the notes with the diagram. Listen 2 times very clearly, because within 3 classes or 4 classes I will complete the topics of the chapter and I will prepare test paper. So go through the classes very seriously. Okay.